This episode of the Citation Needed podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code IHEART for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code IHEART.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single Wikipedia article about it, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Cecil, and I'll be guiding you through this limitless orifice of wiki knowledge. But because I have to do all the work on the other show, I'm going to get some help on this one, damn it. So, joining me from a city that doesn't differentiate between street food and restaurant food because both places have the same amount of garbage in them, welcome No Illusions and He Then Right.
Thanks, Tom. My turn-ons include short walks on the beach. Everyone's into fucking distance walking. No, fuck that. Short walks. It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I've got to back up just a second here. You can talk all the shit you want about me, but let's not impugn the integrity of New York's thriving I have no running water at this booth and yet I'm serving you food industry, okay? Some lines you don't cross.
On its best day, everything tastes like Purell. Like, that's when you know that it's okay. Like, I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get sick.
Well, you've already heard one of them, but also pausing their ongoing debate on whether or not diarrhea counts as calisthenics. If you use a squatty potty, please welcome my good friend Tom and the winner of the Greater Long Island speed shitting competition, Eli Bosnick.
Thank you. I don't know. I feel like speed shitting is like Magic the Gathering tournaments. I think we're all losers. Labels aside.
Look, I don't know if it counts, but according to the Fitbit, a nice bit of diarrhea is indistinguishable from a proper workout.
Or a wank, actually.
Just say there's a lot of sweating.
Also, according to the people at My Planet Fitness.
I like Planet Fitness because everybody is about planet size.
Yeah. Or shape, at least. Yeah. Okay, fellas, we're about to drop some knowledge, but before we did, I wanted to thank our patron supporters for making this show possible. If you want to know how to join their ranks, stick around until the end of the show. And with that out of the way, Tom, tell us what person, place, thing, event, concept, or phenomenon brings us together today.
Well, today, Cecil, we're going to be talking about the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. I feel like I nailed that.
And Heath, since we make an arbitrary decision on who goes next, you have the honor of kicking things off. You read the Wikipedia article on the assassination, right?
I noticed you didn't qualify that with entire, so yes, I did.
Good enough. You're an expert now. Teach us all there is to know.
All right, so Franz Ferdinand Karl Ludwig Joseph Maria was born December 18th, 1863. And he was born into the hazardous occupation of heir apparent to the throne of Austria-Hungary. And if you need a visual image, he looks like live-action Von Kaiser from Punch-Out. Like exactly like that.
For those at home for whom peeing is easy all the time, Punch-Out was a boxing game about racism. You just fought the different races. And then you won.
You fought the stereotypes of each race. It was amazing.
Yeah, and a white guy won. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
See, now I had him down. I had the Archduke down as Victorian era Mario. I'm glad we both went with video games.
I was thinking more Deadwood. I sort of had him pegged as a fat E.B. Farnham with an Al Swearingen mustache.
Franz, Ferdinand, Karl, Ludwig, Joseph, Maria? Was he collecting names for later use for some reason? Like, I'm going to need this one for later. This is my saving name.
All right, so here's the story. In June of 1914, it begins, and Archduke Franz Ferdinand decided to make a trip to Sarajevo that makes Gilligan's trip look straight up unfaithful. But before we get to that, I want to take you all the way back to the 1878 Treaty of Berlin, which said that Austria-Hungary had a mandate to occupy and administer the Ottoman Vilayet of Bosnia, even though technically the Ottoman Empire still claims sovereignty over it.
Sure, Heath gets time travel powers and he takes us to 19th century Bosnia.
Is anybody else already spacing out? Because I don't know where any of these places are, and I'm not really convinced they're real.
All right, so also worth mentioning, the same treaty made an autonomous state out of Serbia, and they quickly became a nationalistic, militarized government that was really pissed at Austria-Hungary about their occupation of Bosnia. And this led to an outbreak of assassination attempts against Austro-Hungarian officials in the region. Many of them were actually successful, starting in the early 1900s.
Well, maybe an assassination vaccine would have halted that outbreak. Or maybe would have given them all autism. I don't know how this works.
I was going to say, that's not the dumbest claim about vaccinations I've heard this week. And no additional amount of sarcasm, by the way, would have gotten it there. So.
Assassin just keeps missing because he's looking at his shoes. Yeah.
121 bullets. 121 bullets.
The getaway driver is a very good driver, by the way.
You can't shoot anybody during Wapner, though.
All right, so anyway, despite
developmental
all that,
delays are hilarious.
all right, so
That was somebody's child.
Is Tom.
Forever a child.
Nah, not if me and Peter Singer have our way.
everybody check out Miracle Mineral Solution.
I thought we weren't doing eugenics this week. I thought we decided against eugenics.
All right, so back to the story. When did the light go out of Franz's eyes? I guess that's what
All right, so in 1913, Austro-Hungarian Emperor Franz Joseph.
Are they all Franzes? Are they
There's a lot of
all
Franzes.
Franzes?
A lot of Franzes, yep. And so Franz Joseph, and I'm assuming he was pissed about how unwieldy their demonym was. He ordered Archduke Ferdinand to observe annual military maneuvers in Bosnia, scheduled for June of 1914. And since nothing moistens the ladies like military maneuvers in a hostile occupied territory, sploosh, he decided to bring his wife Sophie along for the trip.
Oh, this story ends with Sophie making a choice as well. The casket design.
Maybe he just brought her there so there wouldn't be a bunch of pictures of strange women licking him when she wasn't there on Facebook. You don't know. You don't know.
You know when you try to turn a business trip into a romantic little getaway? This is exactly how not to do that.
Right.
All right. Now, by all accounts, Sophie was actually excited to go, but nowhere near as excited as members of a dissident Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand, because that sounds scary to white people, is, I guess, why they name themselves the Black Hand.
Oh, no, the Black Hand doesn't sound scary when it's in chains or handcuffs.
Or a ninja uniform.
Yeah, then they can only attack you one at a time. Or up in the air in an obvious sign of... No, never mind. Wait. Sorry, my bad.
Either way, Dan Errol approves.
Either way, eugenics is next week. So the Black Hand is going to play the part of the villain in this story, I guess. But also the part of the Keystone Cops, as you'll soon find out. It's pretty ridiculous. Basically, there were a group of dissidents in Bosnia that had Serbian backing. They had access to weapons, and they had some serious guerrilla training, which is a shame because they'd come off as much less stupid if they were just a bunch of untrained yokels.
Yeah, right.
A bunch of training.
Now that you have mastered the sword, you must master yakety sax.
Very quickly.
When you can take the Archduke from the palm of my black hand, the student has become the master.
Yeah, so these guys decide to murder the Archduke. And after a series of comically inept efforts to get proper weapons, like they were the idiots from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, they finally get themselves armed and choose Sarajevo as the site of the assassination.
Sarajevo, if you lived here, you'd be assassinated by now.
Actually, knowing how the story ends and the proficiency of Bosnian assassins, you'll probably be just fine, actually.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this is where I'll introduce Gavrilo Princip.
Hi, Gavrilo.
Hello.
I don't like new people.
So Princip, he's a member of Young Bosnia, and he grew up as a peasant farmer in a place that seemed backwards compared to other parts of 19th century Bosnia.
Wow.
No, I literally can't even imagine a place more backwards than 19th century Bosnia, except possibly 21st century Bosnia.
Yeah, not great. And he looks like a parsnip came to life as Casey Affleck.
And like a parsnip and Casey Affleck, he needs assault.
Well done.
What we're saying is everyone who comes from those two places are rapists.
Yes.
Bosnia and Boston.
All right, so a couple other fun facts about Princip. He was the second of 9 children, and 6 of them died in infancy. And he'll eventually wind up as the trigger man.
Ah, trigger warning.
Yep.
6 of them died in infancy. 6. When you bury half a dozen infants, I'm thinking that all you're raising are trigger men.
Yep. So a little bit more about the eventual shooter. He was a sickly child, but by all accounts, a decent student, at least when he wasn't attacking his classmates with a knuckle duster. And he was expelled from school in 1912, but oddly enough, not for the knuckle duster stuff. Actually, it was for participating in a demonstration against Austro-Hungarian authorities.
I just want to point out that we are raising a nation of pussies by comparison.
You're right.
Infantilized by safe spaces. Yes. So after getting expelled, he walked 170 miles to Belgrade.
He was actually 830 miles short of his goal of falling down at your door, as it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that sound exactly like a protest song?
Yeah. Well, he walked 170 miles to Belgrade because he wanted to join the Serbian guerrillas fighting the Ottoman Turks.
Now, I know that you mean gorillas with a U, but in my imagination, you don't. That would be so. World War I would have been so much more fun.
Racist.
Dicks out for the Ottoman Turk guerrillas.
Why are there still Ottoman Turk guerrillas? Yeah. Now, all right. So he eventually made the team with the Serbian guerrillas, but at first he got rejected for being too small and too weak.
The Eli Bosnick story.
Oh, so mean.
Or the lying Bosnian story.
And I'm assuming this is where he started his people to kill list, if he hadn't done that already.
Hey, mine started with Amanda Bynes. I get it. Never returned my letters. Died before I could have her.
Pretty sure she's still alive, dude.
She's dead to me. And all of us. When's the last time you checked on Amanda Bynes? Never. Never. The day she dies, you're going to go, oh.
When you die later this episode, I'm going to go,
I'm going to go,
All right, so back to the story. Eventually, some kind of enterprising revolutionary must have recognized the Archduke assassinating potential in Gavrilo Princip, because after several months bumming back and forth between Belgrade and Sarajevo, he managed to join the Black Hand and become one of their assassins.
Aw. Just like Rudy.
He can make it on his own. All right. Well, I think we got the groundwork laid. So now that everybody's dripping with suspense, we'll take a quick break for everyone's favorite mid-episode use of interstitial music, apropos of nothing.
Next.
Good evening, sir.
Name?
Gavrilo Princip.
Okay, Gabrilo. Why do you want to join the Black Hand?
Because I'm still pissed off about shit that happened in 1167.
Okay, good answer. And what position are you applying for?
Assassin.
Gotcha. Now, do you have any special skills that would be relevant to that position?
Well, I'm pretty good with a knuckle duster.
A knuckle duster?
Yeah.
You're going to assassinate people with a knuckle duster.
Well, I mean, I could.
Dude, come on. That's just your fist, but heavier. That's not so much a weapon as just admitting the other guy punches harder than you in advance, isn't it?
I guess so.
Okay, so I say again, do you have any skills relevant to assassination?
I eat a lot of sandwiches.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Well, not yet, obviously.
Okay. How are you jumping into carts full of hay from up on high?
What?
Or suddenly blending into a crowd, even though the people are chasing you and you're still wearing the same thing? You just start walking.
I'm not really sure.
Have you ever jumped from one roof to another?
I'm from rural Bosnia. We don't have roofs or hay yet.
Yeah, no, I guess you wouldn't. Look, we get a lot of applicants, and I'm not seeing anything that screams hireable here on your resume. What else can you tell me?
I'm young, hopeless, and willing to die for a cause I can't remotely understand.
You're hired.
Same reason to work at Staples. Stand behind desk, pretend I can't see you. At Print Center. Because Spanish lady is sending facts about medicine.
And we're back to learn more about the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. When we paused for a break, Gavrilo Princip had learned the secret black handshake.
Oh, jealous.
And they picked the grassy knoll for the assassination. And now I believe it's time for us to kill some Austro-Hungarian nobility.
That's right, Cecil. It is.
Oh, good.
So on the morning of June 28th, 1914, the Archduke got into a motorcade that was supposed to have 6 vehicles, but they somehow forgot 3 of them when all the cops loaded into one. So this actually happened. So with half the cars are just idling behind them.
How do you even do that? How do you even not notice? Like, hey guys,
literally, there's 3
what about
cars
the other
empty.
fucking cars?
Wait, are we clowns or cops? Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I just saw the scene.
Larry, get off my lap, Larry. Jesus, we have 6 cars.
I never get to sit with Smirnov. I want to sit with Smirnov.
Oh God.
Yep, really happened. So like half the cars are just idling behind them. They all get into one and they head off with Ferdinand for a well-publicized drive down a main road full of people who mostly wished somebody would kill him.
The John F. Kennedy story.
So basically, whenever Trump goes to a state, they can spell its name.
Like that.
And at this point, it's worth mentioning that the local military commander, General Michael von Appel, suggested that to do this trip safely, they need to position troops along the route of the motorcade. But for fear of offending the local populace, they scrapped those plans. And in retrospect, considering that assassins were positioned along the way at intervals of like power-ups on a Mario Kart track. They probably should have just offended the locals and done that.
You know, I gotta say, I sort of feel like if you're worried about being assassinated by the locals are already offended. I mean, that ship is fucking sailed, right? But
I just wish that they would have thrown turtle shells at the guy until he died. That would have been amazing.
He almost makes it, and then Blue Shell, so mad, throws down his heart. No, it's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit, and you know it.
World War I would have been a radically different conflict, yo. Just imagine French troops at Verdun bouncing off bullet bills to make it to von Falkenhayn's flying pirate ship or something. It would have been a much more awesome war.
They're trying to jump on there, and the drawbridge burns behind him.
All right, so the motorcade passed by the first two assassins who failed to act. They didn't do anything. They would both later say that there were too many innocent people nearby and that they didn't want to cheat on their really hot revolutionary girlfriend who's from Canada. You wouldn't know or be able to check on her. But I feel like it's safe to say they wussed out. They wussed out. That's what happened.
They did have one. She lives in Niagara Falls area. She totally wears like a Che Guevara t-shirt.
Yeah.
They totally did it.
She never shaves down there. It's terrible. Like Cecil doing a handstand.
New York, guys, it's New York. She's real, and she's a pole dancer, and she's totally real.
All right, so this is where the third would-be assassin jumped out as the Archduke's car passed by, and he threw a bomb at it. It's also a lot like Mario Kart. But as it turns out, this third assassin has an arm like a fucking Little League right fielder whose dad made him play. So
that was me. It really was.
Yeah. So it does not work out. He misses by an entire car, and the bomb bounces away and detonates under the cart next in line.
Wow, thanks, Tim Tebow. Jesus.
Man, if he didn't say, that's never happened to me before, I bet he regretted it forever.
All right, and now we're actually getting to my favorite part. So the failed assassin, buy a fucking vowel. What the fuck is happening?
There's an L, a J, and a K next to each other in this name.
In pre-Soviet Russia, words consonant U.
Admittedly, that name would kill it in Scrabble.
Yeah, right?
Quidgy-bo. All right, so that guy swallowed a cyanide pill and jumped into the nearby Miljacka River. But then he accidentally vomited the cyanide pill back up. You can't make this shit up. Also, the hot, dry summer left the river all of 13 centimeters deep. Centimeters. So this guy's just splashing around like Men in Tights. Like, I just spit on my cyanide. It's not working out.
Like pooling water around his face, holding it there so he'll drown or something.
Nobody's even trying to arrest him. They're just watching him at that point. They're just all standing around him, flailing around in a puddle.
Oh, my God.
Are you done yet? He's like in a timeout.
I just imagine this dude sitting in the garage in his Chevy Bolt for a couple hours trying to slit his wrist with a safety razor, you know? It's not working, guys.
So the Archduke, no doubt realizing how embarrassing it would have been to get assassinated by this fucking group of idiots, he hurries on to the speech he was supposed to give, which was tough since his notes were now all covered in blood. After that, he decided to go to the local hospital to visit the people injured during that bombing.
Yeah, he still shows up and gives a speech. I call in sick if somebody else gets a cold. This guy has that is a work ethic right there.
Hey, 2 years earlier, Teddy Roosevelt got shot and did a 90-minute speech with a bullet in his ass. Austro-Hungarians are pussies. They got nothing on us. They literally have nothing. They're not even a country, so yeah.
All right, so meanwhile, Gavrilo Princip learned of the unsuccessful assassination attempt and decided to head over to a nearby deli and cry into a pastrami on rye about it. That That actually sounds pretty good right now. Just draw me out. Sorry. Okay. So it turned out the deli was pretty much exactly on the route between the Archduke's speech and the hospital, just by chance. And an even bigger coincidence, the Archduke's car happened to stall out pretty much directly in front of the deli.
Jesus Christ. At this point, is Doc Brown panhandling for 1.21 gigawatts outside?
Yeah. The guy at the shop's like, hey, mister, I ain't got no change for a $5, but I got this bullet with one gun. I am not a super lazy time traveler.
This guy's fucking car stalls out. Nobody bothers to check the fucking mechanical integrity of the car that they're going to drive down Murder Alley or wherever the fuck they're driving around in. Like, hey, guys, maybe we should check this one out before we hop in her, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no nationally reviled Archduke, but if my car stalled out in Sarajevo today, I'd be calling in air support. Jesus.
It's like, fucking Tesla. God damn it. Seeing all this happen and realizing it wasn't too late to get all that, martyr pussy, Princip pulled out a gun and shot both the Archduke and his wife from about 5 feet away. He fired 2 shots, one hitting Ferdinand in the jugular vein, and the other hitting Ferdinand's wife in the abdomen. Both victims died minutes later as the car drove off.
Oh, okay. So this is the director's cut of Sophie's Choice. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. I believe Franz said to his wife, stay alive for the children. You're going to have to pick between them in Act 3.
All right. Well, Princip was arrested immediately, and in later testimony, he insisted the second shot was intended for the regional governor, who was also in the car with 25 little people cops, apparently. But despite being
Midgets,
real sorry
they like to be
about...
called midgets, Heath.
But despite being real sorry about hitting the lady, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
20 years.
Yeah.
And so if you're keeping track at home, murdering foreign dignitaries is to Sarajevo as selling $40 worth of crack is to Baltimore. The same thing.
Yeah. 16 other defendants were sentenced in the assassination. 5 of them were sentenced to death. And in the end, the guy who actually pulled the trigger was given a sentence that was tied for his 7th worst.
No, it's because he was standing his ground, right?
I get it. Everyone was smudgy back then.
How many shots does it take to get to the center of an Archduke? 2. It's 2.
I can beat that in one note, Alex.
This event is often cited as the event that sparked World War I. And even though that's a bit like trying the butterfly that caused the tsunami, there's no doubt that this did touch off a series of events that directly led to the First World War, and by extension, the deaths of 17 million people, give or take.
Yeah, but to be fair, they'd all be dead by now anyway. Total non-event.
Fair. All right, so one last thing. There's a silver lining to the story, I guess.
Thank you. So few shows talk about the light side of World War I.
Right?
Mustard gas. I brought hot dogs.
Silver lining, one more time. The purpose of the assassination was to break off Austria-Hungary's southern provinces to create a combined state of Yugoslavia. And although it took a world war, they eventually did achieve their goal, and all the Yugoslavians lived peacefully ever after.
Until 1981 or whatever. Yeah.
17 million people died so we could have the automotive miracle that was the Yugo. Worth it, guys. Worth every one of them.
So if you had to summarize, Heath, what you learned, what would you say?
First of all, always shoot him now. Never wait till you get home. That's the classic trick. Bugs Bunny's going to get you. Also, always bring a pocket sandwich. That's just common sense. Bring a pocket sandwich.
All right. Well, since you read most of a mostly sourced article on the subject, I think it would be safe to say you're now an expert. So now it's time to throw it to the panel to see if one of our experts can stump you with an assassination of Archduke Ferdinand related question. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's
okay.
We're all ready.
Everybody's ready.
Except for you.
Except for Eli. Yeah. Do you need a?
No, I'm good. Keep going.
All right.
He's typing it right now.
Yes.
All right, I'll start us off. All right, so as the nephew of Emperor Franz Joseph, Franz Ferdinand was not the first in line for the throne at birth. That honor belonged to Crown Prince Rudolf. Why did Ferdinand move ahead of him in the line of succession? Was it A, that no one would let him play any Austro-Hungarian games? B,
Sounds right.
Ferdinand had some really delicious-looking soup and Rudolph was hungry. C, that one was biblical. C, Rudolph committed suicide after news of an extramarital affair went public. Or D, the Austro-Hungarians didn't want to be ruled by a guy that looked like Anthony Jeselnik's mom dressed him up for sailor pictures.
Oh, shit.
Killing the Jeselnik-looking mom, the guy thing. Yeah, D.
Why not? Yeah, we'll say it was D because this relies on you having it right.
All right. I got a question for you. What were the Archduke's final words? A, I'm dying. B, Sophie, stay alive for the children. C, no, fuck you, Alan. Or D, none of the above because he spoke Ferdinand or Austrian or Hungarian. I'm not sure. Final answer.
I think it's actually D because I think he said pastrami on rye. Want to split it?
That is also correct. Yes.
What was Archduke Ferdinand named in his high school yearbook? A, Ferdilicious. B, most likely to be assassinated. C, the hardest working Archduke in show business. Or D, most likely to be responsible for Dan Carlin taking over a goddamn year to teach us something.
I'm going to go with, this is what I got in the high school yearbook too. I'm going with B, most likely to be assassinated.
Bide your time, Heath. It's going to happen. No, I'm sorry. It's the Dan Carlin answer. It's the Dan Carlin.
All right. Okay, before we move on, I do have one more question for Heath. Archduke Ferdinand was so beloved that after his death, he will be forever known for this symbol. A green sash, chosen because his lovely wife Sophie, it was his lovely wife Sophie's favorite color, and luckily she didn't have to live through World War II and decide which one of her kids had to die.
Getting that movie.
B, the golden archdukes. C, a coat of arms that looks like a checkerboard where the red lion is about to scratch the fuck out of a gold castle. Or D, his weird cylindrical hat that looks like someone just unmolded a flan.
Definitely be the Golden Archdukes. 100%.
No, I'm sorry. It's C. It's a red lion getting ready to scratch the fuck out of a castle.
We had recorded this episode before we finalized the website and the Twitter and the Patreon and all that. So the guys trusted me to close out the show on my own. Now, an unethical person might use this opportunity to make their co-host say some really embarrassing things. Right, Eli?
Finger fucking!
But people who know me know that I'm not that type of person to do something like that. I am, however, the type of person to let people know I could do this. So let me get on with closing the show. We're going to have a new show next week, and we also launch that same week. So we encourage everyone who likes the show to share it and rate it on iTunes when it launches. We want to thank our patron supporters, of course, this week for their generous support of our work. We really do appreciate the donations, and it makes this show possible. If you'd like to join their ranks and sign up on Patreon for a per-episode donation, you can go to patreon.com/citationpod. That's one word. Our website will also launch next week, which will have the show notes for this and all the other episodes, as well as links to our podcasts and links to connect with us on social media and that sort of thing. So check it out when it launches. It'll be citationpod.com. So for Tom, Heath, Noah, and Eli, I'm Cecil, saying goodbye for this week, and we'll be back next Wednesday for the next episode of Citation Needed. And hopefully by then, Eli can control his sexual urges.
God, I want to fuck that pig. I'm not even gay, and I want to fuck that pig.
Who are we kidding?
Tom was the first, though, to stump our expert this week, so he'll be taking over the hosting duties next week, and he gets to decide who has to read next week's article.
Well, since this subject was full of clumsy man children struggling with basic tasks, I'm going to go with Eli Bosnia.
Yay! Eugenics.
Well, if he lasts that long. Okay, so, of course, also included in your victory gift bag is getting to read the answer to last week's question. The question was from Eli, why am I so cold? Someone hold me. I'm slipping into the abyss.
And the answer is, shh, Eli, it will all be over soon.
Well, okay, all right. Well, for Tom, Eli, Keith, and Noah. Eli's gonna die soon. He really is, though. He's the youngest one of us. He just got married. That's so bad. This episode of the Citation Needed podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.